Good morning, students. Today's session is for BBA third year HR specialized student, and it is for your first HR specialization, that is for advanced human resource management. Today I will discuss another theories of motivation, that is Bloom's expectancy theory of motivation and Rensis Likert theory of motivation. First we'll discuss Victor Bloom's expectancy theory of motivation. In this theory, today we will cover, according to Bloom, how a person will motivate, what are the criticisms of this theory, and what are the implications of this theory. Let me start Bloom's expectancy theory. This theory was propounded by Victor Bloom in the year 1964. Whatever the theories we studied till now, everywhere we discussed, if an organization wants to motivate its human resource, first it has to identify the human needs, the human deficiencies. After identifying the human needs and deficiencies, if the organization takes various steps for fulfilling or satisfying these human needs, then only the person, then only the employee of an organization will be motivated, and then only the human resource of an organization are interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. Almost all psychologists said same thing related to motivation or related to motivating a human resource. Almost all psychologists said that for motivating a human resource, first the organization has to identify the human needs, human deficiencies. After that, it has to take various steps related to fulfilling or satisfying these human needs so that the person can able to motivate. But some other psychologists said that for motivating a human resource, it is not required for the organization to identify the human needs, to identify the human deficiencies first. Some psychologists said that if an organization satisfies the human needs, it doesn't give guarantee that the person will motivate. Means McGregor said that for motivating a human resource, first the organization is required to identify the human behavior, identify the human mindset of first. He said that for motivating a human resource, it is not required to identify the human needs and human deficiency first. First, the organization has to identify the human behavior, the human mindset of. McGregor said that in an organization there are two types of human beings, like positive human beings, negative human beings. He said that there are two different mindset of people, positive mindset of people and negative mindset of people. And after identifying the human behavior, after identifying the human mindset of, accordingly the organization should have to motivate them. He said that there are different motivational techniques available for different mindset of people. Same technique applied to same type of people, cannot be applied to different mindset of people. He said that for motivating the positive human resource, there are different motivational techniques available, and for motivating a negative mindset of people, there are different motivational techniques. So whatever the motivational technique applied to a positive mindset of people, this technique cannot be applied to a negative human mindset of people for motivation. So generally, a positive motivators means positive mindset of people having a desire in getting in more incentives, getting bonus, and the positive mindset of people want recognition of work, growth, advancement, promotion, achievement. But this motivational technique cannot apply to a negative minded people for motivation. Generally, negative minded people having no interest in work, and they don't want any reward. So how this type of people will be motivated? Generally, negative minded people are motivated through various negative motivational instruments, like through demotion, layoff, retrenchment, and transfer to remote area. By applying this technique, the negative minded people can be motivated, and the organization can motivate the negative minded people by forcefully or fearfully. So to avoid the punishment, generally the motivation apply in the case of negative minded people is completely on the basis of punishment. So through the punishment, the generally negative minded people are motivated. So to avoid punishment, the negative-minded people want to work. So MacGregor said that there are two different human mindset of people, and according to the person's mindset, the organization should have to apply different motivational techniques to the employee for motivation. But Victor Bloom said different things related to motivation. He said that when a person will motivate, he said that when a person believes that when a person perceives that there is a relationship exists between the effort they put, the performance they get, and the reward they receive. Victor Bloom said that a person will motivate only when he perceives that there is a relationship between effort they put, the performance they get, and the reward they receive. Means when they understand that if they put higher level of effort, that leads to a higher performance, that leads to a superior performance. After getting a superior performance, if that performance lead to a particular reward and that performance lead to a satisfactory reward, and if that reward satisfy the individual goal, then at that situation only the person will be motivated. What Victor Bloom said related to motivation? Victor Bloom said that when a person will be motivated, a person will motivate only when the person understand the person believes that there is a relationship exists between the effort they put and the performance they get and the reward they will receive. If there is a positive relationship exists between these three things, between effort, performance, and reward, then only the person will motivate, then only the person interested to exert high level of effort. Unless until the person will not interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal, if they are not able to understand, if they are not able to identify the relationship that exists between the effort, performance, and the reward. So, for that reason, the employee of an organization must have to understand that there is a relationship exists between the effort they put and the performance they get and the reward they will receive in future. So, he must have to understand that their higher effort leads to a superior performance, and the person's superior performance also lead to a satisfactory reward. At that situation only the person will be interested to exert high level of effort. At that situation the person will interested to exert all their potentialities into a particular job. So Victor Bloom identifies three things, that is effort, performance, and reward. These are the three important elements in Victor Bloom's expectancy theory. He said that for motivating a human resource, first the organization has to make understand the employee that there is a relationship exists between effort, whatever effort they put, and that ultimately lead to higher performance, and that superior performance leads to a particular reward, means that reward satisfy the individual goal, so that the person can able to motivate, so that the person interested to exert all their potentialities, all their capabilities to a particular job. So Victor Bloom said that for motivating a human resource, it is not required to study the human mind setup. It is not required to identify the human needs and deficiencies. He said that to motivate a human resource, first the organization has to identify the relationship, or has to make the employee understand that there is a relationship exists between the effort they put and the performance they get and the reward they receive. After only the employees of or human resource of an organization will be motivated. So, in Victor Bloom's theory, Victor Bloom identifies three important variables, three important elements for motivating human resource. That is effort and performance and reward. Victor Bloom said that for motivating a human resource, these three variables are very important. So, always the organization should have to generate a belief, should have to create a belief within a human resource that there should be a relationship exists between the effort they put, the performance they get, and the reward they will receive. And he should have to organization should have to confirm the employee that whatever the reward the person will get in future, that satisfy the individual needs, so that the person will motivate further, so that the person will interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. So effort, performance, and reward are the main element, are the key element in Victor Bloom's expectancy theory. So this is the diagram of relationship between effort, performance, and reward. So Victor Bloom said that when a person interests to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal, means he said that a person interested to exert a high level of effort in a particular situation when he realizes that, when he perceives that if his effort leads to a higher performance, means whatever the effort he will put and whatever the effort he exerts in a particular job, if that effort leads to a higher performance, if that effort leads to a superior performance, then only the person interested to exert all their potentialities into a particular job. After applying or after exerting high level of effort in a particular job, next the employee's performance employee's performance gradually improve. Next the employee expects that the performance of his or her improved and he will get a superior or excellent performance. After getting a superior or excellent performance, next the employee must have to perceive that his performance, his superior performance leads to a particular reward, leads to a satisfactory reward. After that only the person will interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. At last the person will get a reward, means when the person get a reward that must satisfy the individual goal, means at last he has to perceive that, means the employee has to perceive that what reward he will get or what reward he received from the organization that satisfy the individual goal, that satisfy the person, so that the person further interested to exert all their potentialities into a particular job. So Victor Bloom identifies that for motivating a human resource, the organization should have to establish a relationship between effort the person will put and the performance they will get and the reward they will receive. If there is a positive relationship exists between these three things, then the employee of an organization automatically interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. So before exerting high level of effort into a particular job, first the human resource tries to identify what reward he will get or he will receive in future. If the reward satisfy the human needs, satisfy the individual goal, then only the person interested to exert high level of effort. Means if a person having a strong desire in monetary aspect, means if a person want monetary reward and if the organization plan to provide non-monetary reward, like organization decides that if a people of or if an employee of an organization cross this standard, then then that employee get recognition of work, that employee get a promotion, then that employee get a growth advancement, and that employee get a holiday trip, then that person will not interested to exert all their potentialities into a particular job, because he identifies that the reward is non-monetary and that doesn't satisfy the individual goal, that doesn't satisfy him, that doesn't satisfy the person. So at that situation the person identifies that there is no relationship exists between the effort he put, the performance he get, and the reward he will receive. So at that situation the person will not interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. So Victor Bloom said that for motivating a human resource, the employee of an organization must have to perceive that there should be a positive relationship exists between the effort they put and the performance they get and the reward they will receive in future. Means if a person having a strong desire in getting a monetary reward, and if the organization design or provide monetary reward at last, then the person will interested to motivate, then the person will interested to exert all their potentialities in a particular job. Means in that situation, if the organization plans to provide incentives, bonus, and higher pay to that employee, then that person are interested to exert all their potentialities into a particular job. So Victor Bloom said that For motivating a human resource, first the organization has to establish a relationship, a positive relationship between effort the person will put and the performance they will get and the reward they will receive in future. And the reward must be according to the individual requirement, and the reward must satisfy the individual goal, so that the person can able to motivate, so that the person are interested to exert all their potentialities, all their energies into a particular job. So these three things are the key element in Victor Bloom's theory. Now on the basis of these three things or three variables, Victor Bloom develops his theory. So Victor Bloom did not use these three things for his theory. Instead of these three things, he uses three variables like valence, expectancy, and instrumentality. Valence is equal to effort, expectancy is equal to performance, and instrumentality is equal to reward. So these three elements are main element or key element in Victor Bloom's expectancy theory. Let me discuss all the elements of Victor Bloom theory in detail. First, we will discuss the first element that given by Victor Bloom is that valence. Valence means what? Valence is equal to effort. Valence means we can say that the value or the strength one places for a reward. Means for getting a particular reward, for improving the person's performance, whatever the effort, whatever the strength a person exert in a particular job, that is known as valence. Valence means what? Valence means the level of effort, the level of strength that strength the person exert in a particular job to getting a for getting a higher reward, for getting a satisfactory reward. Victor Bloom said that if a person wants promotion, if a person wants promotion, then he gives his best effort to the organization. Means if a person having interest in monetary aspect, then the person, and then if the person perceives that at last the person will get a monetary reward, a monetary reward means the reward may be in the form of incentives, bonus, and higher pay, then the person interested to exert all their potentialities, all their strength into a particular job. So strength, we can say that it is a value or it is a strength of a person that he interested to exert in a particular job. So Victor Bloom said that when a person interested to exert all their energies to a particular job, all their strength into a particular job, when the person believes that at last whatever the reward they will receive, that satisfy the individual needs or individual goals or not. If the reward is according to the individual requirement, according to the employee's requirement, then only the persons can interest to exert all their strength, all their potentialities into a particular job. Means if a person wants promotion, and at last if the organization provide reward in the form of promotion, then the person interested to exert all their energies, and then and at that situation the person interested to put his effort to a particular job, so that at last he can get a suitable reward, and that reward satisfy the individual needs. So first factor is valence. Well, valence means what? The strength one places for getting a particular reward. Next, next variable, the Victor Bloom suggests that expectancy. Expectancy means what? Expectancy is equal to performance. It relates effort to performance. Means when an employee of an organization exerts high level of effort in a particular job, generally he expects that his performance will improve. Means he will get a superior performance. So after getting a superior performance only, the person interested to exert high level of effort, and the person interested to utilize or exert all their potentialities into a particular job. Generally, expectancy means here what? Expectancy relates to belief or expectation of getting a excellent performance due to exerting high level of effort in a particular job. But for improving the performance, for getting a satisfactory performance, there are various factors that affect. Means if the organization provides sufficient material, sufficient resources to a particular person, then the person can able to improve his performance, then the person can able to get a satisfactory performance, get a satisfactory performance on if a person utilize or if a person exert high level of effort in a particular job, high level of effort in a particular job, but that person if but that person doesn't get any resources for completing the job, does not get any resources or any required things for completing or for performing a certain task, then the person's performance will not improve, then the person will not able to get a satisfactory result. So for improving the performance, for getting a satisfactory performance, superior performance, there are certain factors that affect. So first factor is that the person should have to get various resources which required for performing the task, and after that the person having required skill for performing a task, and the person also get help, also get a support from the organization. So if these three assumptions are fulfilled, then the person's higher effort leads to a higher performance. If the employee put or exert high level of effort into a particular job, but if the employee doesn't get any supports and doesn't have any skills required for performing the job, then only it is not possible for a particular person to improve his performance to get a satisfactory performance. So generally in expectancy, what the person expect in what the person believes that in case of expectancy, the person believes that they believe that his higher effort leads to a improved performance, leads to superior performance. So next is the instrumentality. Instrumentality is equal to reward. Instrumentality means what? Instrumentality means the belief and expectation of a person that his performance will lead to a particular reward. Means after improving the performance, after getting a superior performance, generally the persons having an interest, generally the persons required to believe that his superior performance lead to a particular reward, lead to a satisfactory reward, and whatever the reward they will receive in future, that must have to satisfy the individual need, that must have to be according to the individual requirement. So at that situation only the person interested to exert all their energies, all their potentialities into a particular job. So instrumentality is equal to reward. Instrumentality means what? Gupta Bloom said that in instrumentality, the person believes or expect that his superior performance lead to a satisfactory reward. His superior performance lead to a satisfactory reward means that reward satisfy the individual need, and that reward should be according to the requirement of the individual. So within a person, so if a person identifies that there is a relationship between valence, expectancy, and instrumentality, then the person will interest to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. So Bloom's expectation theory can be expressed in the form of equation. He formed an equation that is motivation equal to valence into expectancy into instrumentality. He said that there is a positive relationship exists between valence means the effort the person put, expectancy means the performance that they achieve, and instrumentality means the reward they will receive. He said that these three variables must have a high positive value for motivating a human resource. If a particular variable is zero, then the person's motivation level is also zero, means the person will not interested to exert high level of effort in a particular job. So all these three variables have a influence for motivating a human resource. Next, criticisms of Bloom's expectancy theory. So, Bloom's expectancy theory is criticized by different experts in different way. Some said that this theory is bit difficult to apply. So, this theory is bit difficult to apply because it is difficult for the organization to make the employee understand that there is a relationship exists between the effort they put, the performance they get, and the reward they will receive. So, some psychologists said that this theory is bit difficult to apply for motivating a human resource. Some psychologists say that this theory assumes that people are logically sound, means people having a proper mindset of people having a positive mindset of, so that they can able to identify, they can able to establish a relationship between balance, expectancy and instrumentality. Next, I will discuss implication of Bloom's expectancy theory. In this topic, what we will discuss in implication, we will discuss if a HR manager applies this theory in an organization for motivating a human resource, what he will do. So, in order to enhance the performance outcome, the manager should use systems that tie very closely to performance. Means HR manager should have to develop a strategy in such a way that the human resource of an organization can able to identify, can able to perceive that there is a positive relationship exists between the effort they put, the performance they will receive, and the reward they will get in future. Manager should ensure that the reward are deserved and wanted by the employee. Means he should have to design the reward system in such a way that that reward should satisfy the individual need, and that reward should satisfy the individual goal, so that the person can able to motivate, so that the person will interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. Means HR manager should have to identify what a person want, what a person require, or what reward the person would require. After that, if he designs the reward system accordingly, then the employees of an organization are interested to exert high level of effort towards the organizational goal. Next, in order to improve the and performance, managers should engage in training to improve their capabilities and improve their beliefs. Means in order to improve the performance, in order to make the employee understand, manager should have to engage the employee in various training program, in various developmental program, so that the human resource can able to develop their skills, develop their knowledge and capabilities, and they can get the required skill within, they can get required skill, they can get required knowledge, so that if the person put high level of effort, the performance of that employee can improve to large extent, so that they get a higher performance, and that performance can lead to a superior reward, can get a satisfactory reward. So this is all about Bloom's expectancy theory. Next, I will discuss another theory, another motivational theory given by another expert, that is Rensis Likert theory of motivation. As the name suggests, that this theory suggested or propounded by Dr. Rensis Likert. He conducted much research on human behavior. So he said different things for motivating a human resource. So for proposing a motivational theory, or for identifying the ways of motivation, he examined different types of organization and leadership styles. He said that motivation of a person depends upon the leadership style prevail inside the organization. And he concluded that motivation can be done through maintaining a good relation with the employee. Means he said that if an organization want to motivate its human resource, first it has to maintain a good relationship with the employee, so that the employee of an organization can be motivated, can be dedicated or loyal to the organization. He said that according to the different management style, the employee of an organization is motivated. He identifies four types of management style, and he said that there are four types of management style prevail inside the organization, and according to the different style of management, the person or the employee of an organization will be motivated. So he identified four types of management style, that is exploitative and autocratic system, and benevolent autocratic system, consultative system, and last one is the participative or group system. Let me discuss all the management style, all the management style, all the leadership style provided by Genesis Likert one by one. So first one is the exploitative and autocratic system. The word itself says that exploitative autocratic means everything lies on the top management. Means top management plays an important role for achieving the organizational objective. Generally, top management prepares various decisions for the organization, and these decisions are imposed on the subordinates. Here, subordinates have no role to perform, no role to play. Whatever the decisions of the top management, accordingly they have to work, and they have to follow the top levels information, top levels decisions only, and they have no responsibility, they have no authority to control anything, they have no responsibility, no authority to make their own decisions. Whatever the top management's decisions, they have to follow these things, they have to work accordingly. So if this type of leadership style is prevalent inside the organization, generally motivation is done through threat. Means through negative motivation, through negative technique of motivation, the person will motivate in case of exploitative and autocratic system. Generally, the person will motivate by forcefully, by fearfully, or through negative motivational technique like demotion, transfer to a backward area, or layoff retrenchment. Generally, motivation here is characterized by threat. Everything, whatever the top management inform, whatever the top management said, accordingly the lower level, accordingly the subordinate has to work. Top management have generally great responsibility and lower level have no responsibility. Everything should have to be decided in top level, and everything should have to be decided by the superior, and whatever the superiors concern, whatever the superiors information, accordingly the subordinate has to work. Next, benevolent autocratic system. If in an organization this type of leadership style is prevail, then the organization of the superior doesn't have proper confidence in the subordinate, doesn't have proper confidence in the subordinate, and in this type of leadership style, generally the superior or the subordinate having the relationship of master and servant. Here motivation is based on reward, means by providing some reward like incentives, bonus, the person will motivate, but this system is mm, bit suitable, a bit good as compared to previous one exploitative and autocratic system. There is proper communication and little teamwork. There is a proper communication in case of benevolent autocratic system. There is a proper communication done between the superior and subordinate, and there is a little teamwork. But if this type of leadership system prevail, then there is no proper confidence in subordinate, and the relationship of superior and subordinate is like master and servant. In benevolent autocratic system also, the subordinate have no responsibility, subordinate have no power to make their own decision. Next comes to another type of leadership system provided by Renesas Likert, that is consultative system. In consultative system, there is a substantial but not complete confidence in subordinate. There is a moderate confidence in the subordinate, but there is no complete confidence in subordinate. Means superior interfere in the work of subordinate. Means the superior and subordinate jointly decide the goals, jointly decide the objectives. Here, if this consultative system is prevail, then the superior doesn't have a substantial confidence in worker, subordinate, substantial confidence in subordinate, but no complete confidence in subordinate. Motivation is generally done by reward system. There is proper communication and moderate amount of teamwork. Next comes to participative and group system. So this is the last leadership style given by Renesas Likert, and this leadership style is superior as compared to other. In this type of leadership system, the superior have complete confidence in their subordinate. Means subordinate get complete freedom, subordinate get complete authority to make their own decision, to implement their own decision in their respective area. Personnel at all levels feel responsibility. All personnel, all subordinates having some responsibility, having some authority, they can make their own decision independently, and the motivation is done through economic reward, means by providing some monetary reward like incentive, bonus, higher pay. The person will motivate. In case of participative and group system, there is much communication, means there is a proper communication between the superior and subordinate. Everything, every required thing is communicated from top level to lower level, and there is a cooperative teamwork. And this, if this type of leadership system is prevalent inside the organization, generally it prepare teamwork, and it prepare cooperation, it prepare coordination of work. This type of leadership style is superior as compared to other. So Renesas Likert said that according to different leadership style, the person will motivate. This is all about the Renesas Likert motivation theory. This is all about our today's class. Thank you.